Hello there, very good evening to you. This is Primetime Weekend News. We're coming to you live and direct from our News First studios in Colombo. I'm Sonali Nawagatthegma. We start off with a look at tonight's headlines. President declares open the Irunamadu airstrip. UPFA Northwestern Provincial Councillor Anand Sarath-Kumar, who forced a school teacher to kneel, remanded. Inclement weather prevails, warning issued to refrain from setting out to sea until tomorrow morning. And Hassan Rouhani continues to lead in the Iranian presidential elections. On to the news in detail now. The renovated Kandy Jaffna A9 road was declared open today by President Mahinda Rajapaksa in Kilinochchi. A section of the road from Galle to Jaffna was renovated at a cost of 20,000 million rupees under the immediate road development program under the Mahinda Chintanaya.
The renovated A9 road will encompass 4 lanes with a width of 9 meters each. The President's media unit said that apart from the 4 lanes, 2 bicycles and a wide pedestrian area too had been created. This road, which was destroyed by the terrorists, was redeveloped with the use of state-of-the-art technology. Meanwhile, President Mahinda Rajapaksa also declared open the Irunamadu airstrip this morning. The President arrived via Sri Lanka Air Force MA-60 aircraft, which touched down at the airstrip this morning. The President's media unit said that this is the first airstrip that was constructed by plans formulated by the Sri Lanka Air Force. The airstrip can accommodate the C-130 aircraft, the largest aircraft owned by the SLAF. The airstrip extends up to 1,500 meters and 25 meters in width. The airstrip is one of the 4 airstrips in the northern province. Airstrips have also been constructed in Mana, Vaunia and Palali.
Well, up next is Action TV.
The notices that are put up for display at the Nawagatthegma Mahavidyalaya makes aware both the students and their parents on the measures taken by the school that a standard and proper uniform will assist in the creating of a disciplined group of persons who can set an example. Yesterday, the disciplinary committee was initiated by those attached to the school in order to make sure that the uniforms were properly worn by the minority of students who are still not adhering to the notices that are put up at the school. This teacher, who represents the aforementioned committee, had taken measures to ensure that the dress of a group of female students were proper, taking into account that the dresses worn by these students were shorter than the approved length.
Among the students was the daughter of the politician. He arrived at the school after closing. He told me to kneel. I was kneeling for around 5 minutes. I stood up and then he told me to kneel again. While I was kneeling for the second time, he used a lot of filth and told me not to set foot in the school again. He told me to apologize to his daughter. He threatened to destroy my house by bringing around 300 people. He tried to beat me, but the others prevented that from happening. There were children present there too, along with the other staff.
Taking into consideration the complaint filed with the Nawagatthegma police yesterday and eyewitness accounts relating to the incident, United People's Freedom Alliance Council of the Northwestern Province Anand Sarath-Kumar, who was produced before the Putlam magistrate today, was remanded until Monday. Thereby, measures were taken to mete out justice with regard to the incident that is alleged to have taken place. However, the incident where a provincial councillor forced a teacher to kneel before her fellow teachers and students within the school premises can be considered as the latest to the series of incidents of political interference into education by ruling party members of all provincial councils, let alone the Northwestern Provincial Council. Though limited powers have been given relating to education under the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, provincial councillors can only make proposals relating to education at the advisory committee meetings. However, at all provincial councils, members of the ruling party have been allowed to act in the capacity of observation members. The provision that has been provided to the relatives of those who operate using the title of so-called observation members and possess no qualification to inspect schools, and the incident where a school teacher was forced to kneel before a politico is similar to an act of thuggery. Doesn't looking into the political interferences surrounding schools that come under the purview of provincial councils for the past decade assist in achieving the educational goals in the Mahinda Chintanaya? Secretary to the President, this is over to you.
Incidents where state sector employees were abused by politicians. Former mayor of the Galle Municipal Council threatens the urban medical officer of health. Newly appointed mayor of Galle threatens a public health inspector. Last month, North Central Province Minister of Education assaults a driver attached to the CEB. Today, a teacher of the Navodya schools in Nawagatthegma forced to kneel. Northwestern Provincial Councillor Nawagatthegma arrested in connection to the incident. Why are state employees being forced to endure such abuses?
Over the past few days, fishermen refrained from heading out to sea due to the inclement weather conditions and the rough seas. However, refraining from their livelihoods had an adverse impact on their day-to-day lives. As a result of this, a group of fishermen from the Negombo area disregarded warnings that were in place and set out to sea.
Fishermen in Balapitia refrained from going out to sea today as well. Our cameras captured the manner in which fishermen were seen repairing their equipment as they were unable to engage in their livelihoods. They state that they have had to face many difficulties as they were unable to carry out fishing activities. While fishermen in Balapitia refrained from setting out to sea, a group of fishermen from the Negombo area braved the seas today. According to our correspondent in the area, over 100 fishermen from the sea streets Kudapadu and Kutidua fishing villages in Negombo set out to sea this morning. The weather report states that there will be strong winds and tells us fishermen to refrain from venturing out to sea. And when we don't sit out to sea, we have no food to eat and no one provides food either. We can only provide food for our family if we set out to sea, and if we don't, we do not have anything.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Development, Dr. Nawagatthegma, visited the families of those fishermen who have died or have gone missing due to the inclement weather conditions. He distributed dry rations to the families of those affected.
The inclement weather claimed the lives of 11 fishermen from the Beruala area. Several fishermen are still reported to be missing. Minister Dr. Nawagatthegma distributed dry rations among the families of fishermen who died or have gone missing.
Two individuals died and property damage was reported due to strong winds experienced in a number of areas around the island.
The railway quarters in Hatton have been inundated due to heavy rains. According to our correspondent in the area, the police ground in Hatton has also been inundated, but the Devon waterfall has intensified. Our correspondent said that the power supply to various areas in the Nuwara Elia town was disrupted after a tree fell onto a power line on the racecourse road. An individual was electrocuted in the Hadamunayaya area in Veerakatia. According to our correspondent, a tree had fallen onto a power line and the victim had died in an attempt to remove the power line. The deceased has been identified as 77-year-old LSP Asena, who was the father of 8. Meanwhile, yet another person died after being electrocuted in the Ehaliagoda area. According to our correspondent in Mathura, a large tree collapsed onto a building of the Sultanagoda Mahavidyalaya in Mathura due to the gale force winds experienced in the area. The trees were removed with the assistance of the officers attached to the Disaster Management Center of Mathura.
The seas of Puttlam to Pothuvel via Colombo will continue to remain rough. According to the Met Department, wind speeds will vary between 60 to 70 kilometers per hour in this area. The weather conditions are expected to continue throughout the night as well. Meteorological officers have warned fishermen to refrain from setting out to sea under these conditions. Now, in a backdrop where the lives of over 50 fishermen were lost due to the inclement weather, topics related to the situation are being discussed in various platforms. This discussion has covered a vast area from early warnings to rescue efforts. A roundtable discussion on the importance of disaster management and timely initiatives that could be taken by stakeholders took place today. The storm that battered the island on the 6th of this month has so far claimed over 50 lives.
This roundtable discussion, which took place at the Stein Studios in Wat Malana, was held with the collaboration with experts from the Asian Broadcasting Union. The discussion was organized by the MTV MBC networks. Officials representing state institutions such as the Department of Meteorology and the Disaster Management Centers and journalists took part in this discussion. Views were expressed and ideas were exchanged on the manner of acting at the time of disaster, early warning and other aspects related to disaster risk reduction.
Still in local news, experts on mosquito larvae are of the view that the mosquito density has risen due to the monsoon rains. The acting director of the Dengue Eradication Unit at the Ministry of Health, Dr. USB Ranasinghe, has said that currently there's a risk of dengue becoming an epidemic.
The spread of dengue will intensify in the months of May, June and July. Hence, we can see this development this year as well. As of Thursday, 14,615 dengue patients have been reported. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health took measures to spread the domestic BTI bacteria in the area surrounding the Colombo Hospital Square. The Ministry of Health said that the BTI bacteria was sprayed to locations where there is a possibility of breeding grounds for dengue mosquitoes. Recently, views were expressed on the possibility of spraying the BTI bacteria by air to eradicate dengue. The acting director of the Dengue Eradication Unit said that spraying the BTI bacteria by air is not a practical solution. Sometimes we will have to spray tons of BTI bacteria at some locations in order to destroy the dengue larvae. Solution should be sprayed in these areas. News First cameras took to the streets of Colombo today and came across areas that are conducive for the breeding of dengue mosquitoes. These are the flats in Maligavatta. News First cameras also managed to capture footage of mosquito breeding grounds in Punchaburalla and surrounding areas.
डेंगू पालने कराने किसी में सार्थक වැඩපිළිවෙලක් සෞඛ්‍ය බලධාරීන් දියත් කරලා නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ
The health officers have not implemented any successful program to curb dengue. They only hold media parades. In 2011, it was BTI bacteria. Now it is filing cases. You cannot eradicate dengue by filing cases alone. I am not saying it's not necessary. We should have a successful annual plan as well, which brings together the Ministry of Health and Environment. This plan should be implemented and reviewed.
එහෙම කරලා डेंगू पालने कराने කියන ඉල්ලීමයි අපි සෞඛ්‍ය බලධාරීන් ඉල්ලන්නේ.
Well, with that, we go in for a short commercial break. We'll be right back.